Have you ever noticed how life has a way of working itself out the moment you finally let go? When you stop gripping so tightly to a specific outcome, things suddenly start falling into place. Maybe you lost a job and thought it was the end of the world, only to find a better opportunity waiting for you. Perhaps you experienced heartbreak and believed you'd never heal. But in time, you grew stronger than ever before. The Stoics understood this well. They recognized that life moves according to its own rhythm, that the river of fate cannot be controlled, only navigated. Most importantly, they knew that faith, not just in the universe but in oneself, is one of the most powerful forces we can cultivate. The more humility we show, the more life rewards us. It's an unspoken law of the universe. Those who boast receive little in return, while those who desperately grasp for control often find themselves entangled in more problems. Some call this karma. The Stoics called it fate. And though fate may not always give us what we want, it always provides what we need. Even the most gracious and virtuous among us encounter challenges and setbacks. Yet those who persevere, who move forward with faith and resilience, emerge stronger. Through the storm clouds, they find their way to the bright light of the sun and the clear skies beyond. But let's be clear, patience and faith do not mean passivity. They mean understanding that while we must act with intention, we cannot always dictate the outcome. Life has a mysterious way of revealing its gifts when we least expect them. It's often the moments when we stop desperately searching, when we loosen our grip on expectations, that we find exactly what we need. Think about it. Have you ever spent days or weeks looking for something you lost, only to find the moment you stop searching? Life operates in much the same way. When we release our tight hold on how things should be, we create space for possibility. We make room for unexpected blessings to arrive. Faith and belief are more powerful than we often realize. Faith in the process, faith in ourselves, and most importantly, faith that no matter what happens, everything will unfold in time. This isn't just philosophy, it's a way of life. Let's explore this journey together. The nature of fate and the flow of life. The Stoics have profound understanding of fate. To them, life was like a great river. Some fight against the current, exhausting themselves in a futile struggle to swim upstream. Others let go, trusting the flow, adapting to the bends and rapids as they come. Which approach do you think leads to a more peaceful existence? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." He understood that fate isn't something to resist, it's something to embrace. When we fight against the natural course of life, we create our own suffering. But when we learn to trust in the unfolding of events, we find a deeper sense of peace. Think back to a time in your life when things didn't go your way, when a door you desperately want to keep open suddenly closed. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, or a dream you had for yourself. You may have felt frustration, disappointment, or even despair at the time. But now, looking back, can you see how it led you somewhere even better? Can you recognize the hidden lesson, the unseen opportunity waiting for you on the other side? Often, the things we think we want aren't what we truly need. We cling to an idea of what we believe will bring us happiness, only to discover that true fulfillment comes in unexpected ways. The Stoics remind us to trust the process, to have faith that life is guiding us exactly where we need to go. But this trust isn't passive. It's an active engagement with reality. When we accept what is, rather than resist it, we create space for new possibilities to emerge. When we shift our focus from what we have lost to what we stand to gain, we open ourselves up to growth. Life has a way of unfolding in ways we can't always predict, but often those ways ultimately serve us. So, the next time something doesn't go as planned, ask yourself, what if this is a stepping stone, not a setback? What if this is life pushing me towards something greater? Have faith. Everything will come in its own time. Practical steps to cultivate faith. Practice detachment. Recognize that control is an illusion. We do not control outcomes, only our responses. When faced with disappointment, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is not the end, only a redirection. Gratitude reflection. Each night, reflect on 3 things that initially seem like setbacks but ultimately turn out for the best. Over time, you'll begin to see how often life works in your favor, even when it doesn't feel like it first. By embracing these principles, you'll find a deeper sense of peace, resilience, and trust in the journey ahead. The power of humility. The louder someone boasts, the less they truly possess. This is an eternal truth. The truly wise, the truly powerful, have no need to flaunt their achievements or seek validation. They're secure in themselves. Humility is not weakness. It is quiet confidence, a deep-rooted strength that does not demand applause. As Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn that which he thinks he already knows." Pride blinds us. It makes us resistant to growth. The Stoics understood that true strength comes from humility, from the willingness to learn, to be wrong, and to accept life without resistance. A wise person is always a student of life. They recognize that knowledge is never complete, that wisdom is a lifelong pursuit. Those who believe they already know everything have closed the door to discovery. Humility allows us to see ourselves clearly, acknowledge our flaws, and commit to becoming better every day. True power lies in the unseen acts of kindness, the selfless gestures, and the quiet moments of integrity. History has shown that those who lead with humility, who act without seeking attention, are the ones who leave the greatest impact. The Stoics live by this principle. But humility does not mean diminishing yourself or refusing to take pride in your achievements. It means understanding that all success is fleeting, that knowledge is infinite, and that every person has something valuable to teach us. Growth is continuous. No single moment of triumph defines us completely. A humble person moves through life with quiet assurance, knowing that their worth is not dictated by external recognition, but by their internal character. Those who act with humility and kindness find themselves unexpectedly rewarded, not because they seek it, but because this is a natural order of things. You may have seen this in your own life. The most generous, sincere people often attract kindness in return. The Stoics understood that energy is cyclical. What you give, you receive. Even in difficult times, humility keeps us open, adaptable, and receptive to new opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. A person who lifts others up will never lack support. A person who listens rather than speaks will gain more wisdom than they imagined. A person who acknowledges their faults will grow faster than one who pretends to be without flaw. The most powerful leaders in history often spoke the least about their own greatness. They let their actions speak for them. They led by example, not by demand. On the other hand, those obsessed with their image and external validation often crumble under pressure because their sense of self is too fragile to withstand challenges. True humility builds resilience. It creates an unshakable foundation that does not depend on the approval of others. The world rewards humility in subtle but profound ways. It recognizes those who act with kindness and those who embrace lifelong learning. Humility is not about being passive or timid. It is about moving through the world with quiet assurance, knowing that true worth does not need to be proven. It simply exists. Humility invites grace into our lives. It helps us navigate adversity with dignity, connect with others on a deeper level, and see the beauty in every lesson and challenge. The more humble you are, the more you will find yourself in the presence of truth. And the more truth you embrace, the more peace you will find. Embrace the beginner's mindset. No matter how much you know, approach life as if you are always a student. Ask more questions than you answer. Cultivate curiosity, for knowledge is an ever-expanding ocean. What you know today may evolve with what you learn tomorrow. The greatest minds in history, from Socrates to Leonardo da Vinci, embraced the power of questioning. By seeking to understand rather than prove themselves right, they cultivated wisdom and unlocked deeper insights. Engage in discussions without the need to dominate them. Challenge your assumptions. True intelligence lies in the ability to continuously evolve. The moment you believe you have all the answers is the moment you stop growing. So embrace humility, nurture curiosity, and let every encounter be an opportunity to learn. Give without expectation. When you do something kind, do it for its own sake, not for recognition. The reward comes in ways you cannot predict. Sometimes as an unexpected opportunity, a serendipitous encounter, or a moment of deep personal fulfillment. Other times, It manifests in a quiet knowing that you have contributed positively to the world. The Stoics believe that virtue is its own reward, that to do good is to align oneself with the natural order of the universe. Do not count the immediate returns of your kindness. Trust that its echoes will return to you in ways you may never anticipate, at moments when you least expect but most need them. The strength of silence. Sometimes, the most powerful response is no response at all. Learn to listen more than you speak. Silence is not weakness. It is strength. It allows you to observe, to understand, and to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. In a world where noise dominates and people rush to speak first and think later, mastering the art of silence sets you apart. When you listen more, you learn more. You gain insight into the motivations of others, the subtleties of situations, and the hidden truths that words often fail to express. The Stoics believe that speech should be measured and intentional. Marcus Aurelius advised, never allow yourself to be so tied to the thought that you resent being corrected. This means embracing silence when necessary and recognizing that your words carry weight. Every response does not require immediate action. Some situations resolve themselves with time. Some conflicts dissipate when not fed by reaction. Consider moments in your life when silence served you well. Perhaps in an argument where responding in anger would have escalated the situation, but your silence brought clarity. Perhaps in a negotiation where listening instead of interrupting revealed opportunities you would have otherwise missed. Practicing silence is not about avoidance. It is about understanding when words add value and when they do not. Learn to cultivate this wisdom. Listen to what is said and what is left unsaid. Train yourself to be comfortable with pauses, with stillness, with reflection. Speak when necessary, but let your words be chosen carefully, shaped by patience and understanding. In doing so, you'll find that silence often speaks louder than words. Patience and perseverance. Life will test you. The Stoics knew this well. They did not believe that being virtuous or humble meant a life without struggle. On the contrary, they knew that even the best people would encounter storms. But they also knew that perseverance, trust in the journey, and resilience would always lead to stronger, wiser, and more peaceful self. Seneca once said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Every hardship is an opportunity for growth. Every setback is a lesson in resilience. Those who trust the process, who believe in themselves, and who keep going no matter what, always find their way through the darkest nights. Challenges do not come to break us. They come to shape us. A fire tested by the wind either flickers and dies or grows stronger and more powerful. The same is true for us. The moments that seem unbearable, the difficulties that test our patience, are the very moments that refine our character and forge our strength. Roots must expand before new branches can emerge. Growth often takes place beneath the surface long before we notice its effects. If you're facing challenges, remember this. Every obstacle contains a seed of opportunity. Moments of difficulty are not roadblocks. They are invitations to resilience and transformation. The Stoics understood that true defeat only comes when we surrender to despair. So take one more step. Even if the way forward seems unclear now, trust that the path will reveal itself in time. The future holds more than we can presently perceive. Often, the struggles we endure today are shaping us for something far greater than we can imagine. One day, you will look back with gratitude, recognizing that what once felt like a setback was actually a stepping stone. With time, what once seemed unbearable will become the foundation of your strength. The faith that carried you through will prove to be one of your greatest allies. But faith is not just about waiting. It is about acting. It is the unwavering belief that the effort you put in today will bear fruit, even if the results are not yet visible. Faith is moving forward despite doubt. Waking up each day determined to keep going, and trusting that even the hardest days are leading you towards something meaningful. If you have ever overcome a hardship and later recognized how it shaped you, then you already understand this principle. What once seemed insurmountable became a defining moment that strengthened you, taught you lessons, and shaped you into the person you are today. If that was true for your past, why would it not be true for your present struggles as well? The challenges you face now are not barriers. They are part of the journey. They refine you, test your endurance, and guide you toward wisdom. The Stoics remind us that no experience is entirely negative, only events that we have yet to reframe. Given enough time, difficulties take on new meaning. But why wait for time to change your perspective? Why not embrace that wisdom now? When you choose to see your struggles as necessary parts of your growth, the burden becomes lighter. Even hardship has a purpose, to make you stronger, more patient, and more resilient. Instead of fearing struggle, embrace it as your teacher. Move forward with faith, not because you see the entire path, but because you trust that you'll be strong enough to meet whatever comes your way. Reframe challenges as opportunities. See obstacles not as limitations, but as training grounds for your mind. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Begin each morning with affirmations of trust. I believe in the process. I believe in myself. Everything will come in time. Take the next step, no matter how small. Progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. The power of faith in shaping reality. Faith is not blind optimism. It is an act of trust in life's unfolding. The Stoics believe that our perceptions shape our experiences. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, wrote Marcus Aurelius. If we fill our minds with fear and doubt, we create a world of fear and doubt. But if we cultivate belief and trust, we align ourselves with the natural rhythm of existence. Faith does not mean expecting life to unfold exactly as we wish. Instead, it is trusting that we are being guided, even in moments of uncertainty. Reflect on the times you resisted change, only to later realize it led you to something better. What if, instead of resisting, we leaned into faith? What if we trusted that everything happening now, whether joyful or painful, is part of a greater purpose? The Stoics encourage us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our attitudes, and our perspectives. Everything else, external events, the opinions of others, the timing of success, is beyond our influence. Faith, then, is a discipline. It is a choice to surrender what we cannot control and to move forward with clarity and purpose. Faith also teaches patience. Seeds planted today may not bear fruit for years. Just as a tree grows at its own pace, so too does our journey unfold in its own time. Nature does not resist its cycles, and neither should we. Trusting in the process frees us from unnecessary worry. True power comes from within. Seneca wrote, "The mind that is anxious about the future is miserable." When we cultivate faith, we replace anxiety with trust. We may not know what tomorrow holds, but we know we are strong enough to face it. Faith transforms our challenges, allowing us to meet them with quiet confidence. Even if we do not understand why something is happening now, one day, its purpose will become clear. Embracing uncertainty. One of life's greatest sources of anxiety is the unknown. We crave certainty, yet the future is always uncertain. The Stoics remind us that resisting this truth only leads to suffering. Do not seek to have events happen as you wish, said Epictetus, but wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will go well. Uncertainty is not something to fear, but to embrace. It is a space where growth happens, where possibilities unfold, and where we discover strengths we never knew we had. Think of a time when things did not go according to plan, yet led you to an unexpected opportunity. How often have you found that the very things you feared were necessary for your personal evolution? When we stop trying to force life into a rigid framework, we allow room for something even greater than we imagined. Uncertainty stretches us beyond our comfort zones, fostering adaptability and resilience. The most successful people in history were those who navigated the unknown with courage and curiosity, understanding that within uncertainty lies potential for greatness. The more we embrace uncertainty, the more we cultivate inner peace. Instead of resisting change, we learn to move with it. Instead of fearing the unknown, we welcome it as a gateway to transformation. Imagine standing before a vast ocean, unsure what lies beyond the horizon. You could let fear paralyze you, or you could set sail, trusting that the winds of life will guide you where you need to be. How we perceive uncertainty shapes our experience of it. If we see it as a threat, we feel overwhelmed. But if we see it as an opportunity, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. Life is a series of unfolding moments, and our openness to them determines the richness of our experience. Trust the process. The river does not resist its course. It flows effortlessly toward the ocean. The seasons do not fight change. They transition in harmony. Why should we struggle against the natural flow of our own lives? When we surrender to uncertainty with faith instead of fear, we allow life to work in our favor. Often, what we perceive as setbacks are actually stepping stones towards something greater than we could have planned ourselves. Practices for strengthening faith. Practice acceptance. Remind yourself, I do not need to control everything. I am open to life surprises. Let go of perfectionism. Growth thrives in uncertainty. The less we cling to control, the more opportunities appear. Engage in the present moment. Anxiety about the future often stems from neglecting the present. Bring your attention back to now. It is the only moment where life is truly unfolding. Faith is not just a belief. It is a way of living. It is the bridge that leads us from doubt to peace. Trust that everything is unfolding as it should, and move forward with confidence. Your journey is leading you exactly where you need to be. The Stoic mindset in adversity. The Stoics never promise an easy life. Instead, they prepare themselves to remain steady in the face of hardship. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Every challenge is an opportunity to refine our character, to become stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what lies ahead. The struggles we face are not obstacles. They're the very forces that shape us. Just as a sculptor chisels away stone to reveal a masterpiece, adversity reveals our inner strength. Difficulties test our faith, but they also fortify it. When we endure hardships with grace, we prove to ourselves that we can handle whatever comes our way. The more we cultivate resilience, the less life's inevitable storms shake us. Each challenge presents a choice, to crumble under its weight or rise above it. The Stoics understood that hardship is not a punishment, but a teacher. It forces us to confront our fears, adapt, and develop a mind that remains steady despite external circumstances. True strength isn't about avoiding pain. It's about enduring it with dignity and wisdom. Imagine a tree standing tall through the fiercest storms. Its roots grow deeper with each gust of wind. Its trunk strengthens with each passing season. The tree does not resist the storm. It bends when necessary but remains firmly planted. Likewise, every hardship we endure fortifies us, preparing us for even greater challenges ahead. This mindset is not about ignoring pain or suppressing emotions, but about choosing to rise above despair. It's about meeting challenges with a calm and steady spirit. Strength isn't built in comfort, but in adversity. Facing difficulties head-on teaches us that we have the power to endure and grow. It's easy to wish for a life free of struggle, but such a life would lack depth. Adversity teaches us what we're truly capable of. When tested, we discover hidden reserves of resilience. The Stoics didn't seek suffering, but they embraced it when it came, knowing it was a forge in which true strength is created. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, just as an effortless life never made a wise person. If we shift our mindset, we'll see that our struggles are not roadblocks, but stepping stones leading us to greater heights. They teach us patience, resilience, and the ability to navigate life with wisdom. The failures we endure today may lead to victories in the future. Every hardship strengthens us for what lies ahead. Without adversity, there is no growth. Without challenge, there is no transformation. Hardship is not the enemy. It is the silent architect of our strength. It reveals our true selves. Those who rise above suffering develop a resilience that cannot be taken away. Greatness is not found in avoiding struggle, but in learning to rise above it. History's greatest figures did not become great by avoiding hardship, but by overcoming it. Their paths were rarely smooth, yet they endured, understanding that hardship is not something to fear, but something to harness. It is the fire that tempers steel, the forge that strengthens the soul, and the sculptor that reveals the masterpiece beneath. True greatness lies in embracing the journey rather than resisting it. Suffering, though painful, is not without purpose. It teaches patience when we are forced to wait, resilience when we are knocked down, and wisdom when we are compelled to reflect. Struggles test our character, but they also shape it, molding us into stronger, more capable versions of ourselves. Practical steps to cultivate resilience. Find strength in routine. When life feels chaotic, Maintain small daily habits that keep you grounded, such as morning reflection or physical exercise. Consistency in these practices acts as an anchor, bringing clarity even in turbulent times. Engage in mindful breathing. Use breath work to center your thoughts and create a sense of stability. Simple breathing exercises can help you regain focus and stay calm under pressure. Trust in your strength. Remind yourself of past hardships you have overcome. Reflect on the struggles that once seemed insurmountable but that you conquered. Recognize that resilience is built over time, and each challenge prepares you for the next. Recognize your growth. Growth often happens unnoticed, just as a tree does not realize its roots are strengthening during a storm. Trust that even in difficulty, you are becoming stronger. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about knowing that you will rise, no matter how many times you fall. Your past struggles have not broken you. They have built you. And with every challenge you face, you are becoming even stronger. Sharing knowledge isn't just about helping others. It deepens our own understanding. Giving time to support someone else leads to a stronger sense of purpose. Generosity doesn't take away from us. It enriches our lives, strengthens our connections, and reminds us that we're all part of something bigger than ourselves. The Stoics knew that a meaningful life isn't measured by what we accumulate, but by what we contribute. Generosity isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, consistent acts of kindness, showing up, offering a helping hand, and understanding that giving often comes full circle in ways we might not immediately see. Whether through material support, emotional encouragement, or a simple act of goodwill, every gesture strengthens human connection. A kind word, a thoughtful deed, or a moment of support can create ripples beyond what we imagine. When we uplift others, we set off a cycle of goodwill that eventually returns to us. Being generous also teaches humility. It reminds us that we're not separate but deeply interconnected. Supporting someone else nurtures our shared humanity, reinforcing that asking for help isn't a weakness but a natural part of life. Strong communities are built on generosity, and every act of giving strengthens the bonds between us. Even the smallest efforts contribute to something vast, meaningful, and enduring. True generosity isn't reserved for times of comfort. It's a commitment, even in difficult moments, recognizing that giving is an investment in the greater good. It's an act of faith, the belief that what we put into the world will find its way back. This isn't about self-sacrifice to the point of depletion, but about understanding that abundance flows through generosity. Just as nature thrives in balance, so does a human spirit. The more we give, the more we find fulfillment and purpose. In hardship, generosity reminds us of our strength. Even when we feel we have little to offer, a kind word, a moment of encouragement, or a listening ear can be transformative. The true power of generosity isn't measured in rewards, but in the unseen impacts, the hope we restore, the inspiration we spark, the example we set. A single act of kindness can set off a chain reaction, touching lives we may never meet. In this way, generosity becomes a legacy, an ongoing contribution to a better world. Every choice to give reinforces a cycle of reciprocity that elevates us and those around us. When we approach life with open hands instead of clenched fists, we make space for unexpected blessings. Generosity isn't just an action. It's an energy that moves through us, expanding far beyond what we can immediately see. This is the paradox of generosity. The more we give, the more we receive. Not always in the way we expect, but always in the way we need. It shifts our mindset from scarcity to abundance, teaching us to trust in life's flow. The universe doesn't operate on rigid transactions. It responds to sincerity, intention, and goodwill. When we embrace this truth, we see that giving doesn't deplete us. It fills us with purpose and deepens our connection with others. A single act of generosity can inspire, heal, and restore faith in humanity. The kindness we extend today may return to us in ways we never anticipated. Like a drop in the ocean creating waves, generosity sets change in motion, whether we witness it or not. The more we share, the more we receive, not just in material form, but in fulfillment, connection, and a greater sense of purpose. Giving is not a sacrifice, it's a privilege. True generosity expects nothing in return, but understands that the act itself is its own reward. Each act of kindness creates an invisible ripple, shaping the world in ways we may never directly see. Gratitude plays a key role in this cycle. The more we appreciate what we have, the more abundance we attract. Gratitude is more than a feeling. It's a way of seeing the world. Focusing on what's missing breeds scarcity, while recognizing what we already have cultivates abundance. Living with gratitude transforms our experience of life. It helps us see lessons in setbacks, find beauty in simple moments, and uncover meaning in hardship. A grateful heart doesn't break under pressure. It finds strength in the journey. The more we appreciate, the more we receive, not because the world changes, but because we do. Sharing knowledge is another form of generosity. Teaching not only helps others grow, but reinforces our own understanding. Passing on what we've learned sparks curiosity, challenges old ideas, and inspires action. True learning is an ongoing exchange. When we teach, we gain deeper insights ourselves. Knowledge, like energy, isn't meant to be hoarded. It flourishes when shared. Everything will come in its own time. The Stoics remind us that life is constantly unfolding for our highest growth. Surrender what you can't control and take meaningful action where you can. Challenges often disguise themselves as opportunities. And when we trust in life's flow, we find that everything meant for us arrives exactly when it should. So let go of doubt. Release the need to force outcomes. Move forward with trust, knowing that what's meant for you will always find its way.